And it's live. Happy Friday, everyone, and welcome to the Friday Fun live stream. So, yeah, I'm going to be doing some drawing, and again, I invited some folks to join me, and if they do, that's great, and if not, art will still happen with maybe Antics. We will see. We shall see. So, yeah. And if they do, that's great, and if I knew. There we go. That should be better. All right. I knew I should have muted that, but I think we're good now. We're good? We're good? All right, we're good. Well, I'm going to take a quick second to post this to the Book of Faces so that people can join and watch. And looks like it has been posted, so awesome. Well, very cool. So let me go ahead and get my screen shared. I probably should click the button that says share screen. Wow, I am all over the place today. So exciting. Getting ready for 4th of July. We're just going to have a nice, relaxing 4th of July, my husband and myself. And there it is. Okay. Here we go. There it is. Happy 4th of July we have Kyle and Stella from my upcoming graphic novel, Interstella. And they're having a little candid moment, a little tangled up. So I thought today would be really fun to just take a break and draw something fun. It's Friday, and I've been working really hard on my comic, and a lot of the next pages I'm working on really requires a lot of mental focus. So I figured that today it'd be good to just do some fan art myself. Is it promotional art? I'm not quite sure what you'd call it. But anyways, I thought it'd be fun to do something different. So I'm going to see how much I can get done in 2 hours. And I've already done the sketch, as you can see. Let's go and pull that up a little closer. So yeah, you can see I've already done the sketch. And trying to get Clip Studio to obey. There we go. And my next steps are to ink it. So if you're not familiar with the term inking, basically I actually just go over it and put a nice layer of nice clean, more cleaned up lines on top of that. And then flat it, which is the primary base of colors, and then add some shading. So yeah, we'll just see what I can do. But I am looking forward to doing something a little different today. So I'll give it a few minutes to see if anyone joins me. And if no one joins me, what I've done in the past is I've muted myself so I can play some music and not infringe on any copyrights. Okay, I think I should call lines. Okay. I'm not sure if I want to do a vector layer or a regular layer. If any of you are familiar with Clip Studio, we have this cool thing called a vector layer here. It basically, you can draw lines, and then with the vector eraser, you can actually erase only where those lines intersect. So it's very handy, but sometimes it's a little tricky to use if I want to accomplish certain things. So, I think I'll usually faces. I don't like to do a whole lot of vector lines. Okay, well, here we go. Starting on Kyle's face. I don't know why I always seem to start with eyes. They kind of tend to be some of the hardest things to do. I feel like that's where all the emotion is. But I feel that sometimes if I get them done, they kind of direct the rest of the painting or the image. Don't know who said, but yeah, windows are definitely the window to the soul. It feels so weird. I've never actually live streamed while inking anything. So pardon me if I make some weird looking faces. It happens. Ear got really big. So sometimes I will flip the canvas, like you may have just seen me do. Helps me view it from a different angle. This kind of gives me good fresh perspective. This actually might be a good layer to do a vector layer on. And if you're watching and paying attention, sometimes the vector lines is when they're put down, they sort of have Clip Studio adjusts them a little bit. There's a lot of settings you can adapt for this. So it's actually quite flexible and it's very nice. And I realized I might need to go pull up my reference. Ooh, that might need to happen. You know what? Give me a second. I'm going to go find my reference for astronaut suits because I am going to need that. Grab a few of these. I'm just doing a quick little search through my image database. Oops, let's see. That's a good one. And we'll grab a couple more. I think that's all I need for today. I'm not too worried about technicalities today. I can see where I just put them. There we go. So I'm tossing these into Clip Studio. Oops, unsupported file format. Well, that's exciting. I'm not going to even care too much about that. Now, if any of you who are watching are like, well, he wouldn't use that in space because it's used for, like a terrestrial planet or moon, you're right. And I'm kind of breaking some rules today. But it's okay. I'm sort of mix and matching. There we go. And we can close that guy. I don't think I need, I'll leave that one open, but I don't think I need that one. We'll grab this guy. Okay. guy is handy to have. Oop, wrong one. I do not need that one. And this is a good one to have. I'm just going to toss a bunch in there. I've already thought up, actually, I'm just going to close that guy for now. Pictures of Earth. Okay. And that's my extra one I don't need either. All right. Here we go. Streamline. It's really the helmet right now. And just because that's annoying. Yeah, OCD. Okay. I already did most of my drawings anyway. I figured out the suit, but there are certain things that I just will need to be refreshed on. Okay, here we go. Focus time. All right, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my banner up and I'm going to mute myself because I'm going to play a little music, but I will check on the chat every now and then. So if anyone has a question, I will get to it. It might just take me a little bit and I'll keep my eye out in case anyone hops in. So there we go. There's a little ticker and here we go. Well, Dano, hello. And hello to Ellen as well. Thank you guys for joining me. Hopefully you guys are having a good pre 4th of July Friday. So I'm just working on some fun, I can't call it fan art because I don't think you can be a fan of your own art. I don't know. I am, but I'm making some fun, relaxed art today. Normally I've been working on my graphic novel, Interstella, and which is not released yet. And so I figured that today would just be nice to have a break and make some fun 4th of July themed art. So I am doing some little space scene here with one of my characters. And astronaut suits are very detailed. I realize that I know it's not the right suit to be floating in space. I think this is like the suit that they use for the moon. So hopefully no one from NASA will call me out on that. Oh well. And so hopefully some other artists will join today. I sent out an invite. Sometimes people can make it, sometimes you can't, and that's okay. So I'm just getting some work done. I'm going to see how much I can get done of this in about 2 hours. Trying to speed up my process a little bit more. Okay, this guy has to move. Is he? You guys are in the way. Oh, for whatever reason. Oh, there we go. Okay. I don't know why it wasn't moving. And we'll close that one out. Unrelated to Interstellar 5555, the story of the secret star system. Yeah. Yes. I'll say that with a pause. Oh, please don't tell me that is. Please tell me I'm being funny and that's not a real thing. I think actually you were the one that a while ago I posted, like a couple of years ago, I posted some artwork of a Star Wars character. And I was like, her name is Tanya Onassi. And I had never played KOTOR at that point, and I think I must have heard of it and it was subliminally stuck in my head. And then you were like, oh, is it related to like that character from KOTOR? And I was like, what? Someone already has a last name? Like, oh no. But I have played KOTOR since then, and it's the bomb. Fantastic game. But no, that character is no longer named Tanya Onassi or Onassi, however you say it. Although that would be kind of cool if she was related to him. So maybe that will change. We'll see. Oh, it's a real thing. It's a movie full-length music video for a Daft Punk album. Okay. Well, if it's called Interstellar 5555, if mine is just Interstellar, I might be able to get away with it as an independent comic creator, since I think it's not the exact name. Crossed fingers. Otherwise, I'm going to have to go and find a new name. It's so hard naming things. Oh. So, anyways, Interstellar is kind of what I've been sticking with right now because it has a good ring to it, but it's hard. For a while, I got stuck to a few other names. I'm like, they're the best. And then I looked it up and there was a comic like about them. I'm like, come on. I can't win. I don't know what to call this thing. But thank you. This is good. This is good stuff to know. Otherwise, I'll have Daft Punkian lawyers after me. A lowly comic book artist. What am I doing with his suit? I remember there's a reason for the flag being on the left shoulder. I can't remember why though. My husband could tell me. Oh, let's see. I might take some artistic liberties and not put in all the stars. It'll be a little flag, a chibi flag. There. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out. The Interstellar 555. Wait, 5 to the 4th power. No, that doesn't work either. Anyways, I will look it up because I do like their music. At least a little. I have listened to it. And you also say, "Oh no, you're not the bearer of bad news at all." I need people to tell me these things so I can be aware of it. But I think I actually should be fine. As long as, and I think I'm more concerned if there was another comic that was called that. Since it's not a comic, I feel a little better. Oh, that's not entirely perfect circle, but who cares? That's why we have digital art. There we go. And I think I'm going to do the logo later. I'm totes changing all of this. Someone from NASA is going to show up and be like, it's an abomination. What have you done? Yes, I really did enjoy KOTOR. Took me forever to play it because I like to draw out games that I enjoy and savor them to the max. But at some point, I was going to start KOTOR 2. And then I decided before that, I was like, well, I should just try Republic, the old Republic. And I knew that it wasn't anything like really amazing. People said like, yeah, it's okay. And so I went in that with those expectations, but I got as far as I could, which was only creating the character. And then my laptop crashed. And it wasn't until then dawned on me I did not have the graphics card for it because it overheated. So I had to install the game. And I'm like, yeah, I guess this is why I would make or build an actual fancy computer to play this game if I really wanted to. So, oh well, I'm not too crushed since people weren't like, it's the most amazing thing ever. You have to play it. Helen says, it's a good thing you don't have to worry about stealing someone's name while name your children. That would be, that'd be a drag. I'd be like Jessica 111557771, like how they used to do that with all the emails. I'm glad of that. Oh my goodness. I just see. Hello. Sorry, Fuzzy.
No, that's all right.
Sorry, yeah.
You looked a little lonely.
What?
How you doing?
I'm good. Hopefully you weren't backstage that long.
Oh, no. Not long at all.
I was so intent. I was reading the comment. Since I'm like, someone named Fuzzy Comics says I'm backstage. Whoa. I should do something about that. Hey, you're alive! Congratulations!
I am alive. Yeah.
And you're here.
Ooh, I'm getting some echo.
Uh-oh. Double check, make sure nothing's
Yeah, I don't know.
replay. No? Still echo?
No, not that I can hear. Anyway, yeah, I'm alive. I have. Well, I didn't finish my comic completely, but I got it to a point where I felt good. And then it turns out I had the time wrong, so I missed the cutoff, and I wasn't able to post the last episode.
Oh no! What?
Yeah, it sucks, but what are you gonna do?
When was the deadline?
It was 6 p.m. on the 30th, at around here.
Yeah.
And I thought, I don't know if it was like what you want to call it, dyslexia or what, but I thought it was 9.
Yep.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
Oh shoot.
I mean, so like I'm a little frustrated that I couldn't get the. Obviously, I don't like the idea of not being able to be a part of the, kind of automatically disqualified, right? But I'm more mad because I'm not even able to post it. Like I feel bad for the readers because you don't get to see the end of it.
So you couldn't even post it even if it wasn't considered a part of the contest?
No.
Like
I can start an entirely new webtoon.
Just to post it again, but
yeah,
that's
but like
frustrating.
Yeah, at that point you're like, okay, I've lost everyone that's reading, because I can't even post an update on that thing to send them to the new one. I would have to start completely over. And that's, I don't know why you'd hurt the readers like that. That seems weird to me. But
that's just bad organization of
yeah.
crap.
What are you gonna do?
Yeah, right. I mean, yeah. I'm sorry. That really sucks.
Whatever. I mean, just like anything else, you just accept it and move on. But
you got the other one up though, so
yeah. That meets all the criteria and everything. So it's frustrating, I don't know. Yeah. And I sent him an email right away, like, hey, listen, I don't know what I can do. Is there like, I've got it done. It's right here. Here's the evidence. I sent him a zip file with all of it. I don't think they even read that, like the whole email that I sent. I think they just like.
Did they reply back?
Yeah, they replied, but it was like a
automated.
Yeah, it was just like, hey, what does it say here? It says, thank you for reaching out to us. Unfortunately, the submission period is over.
That's a nice human touch to it.
Yeah. Edits and uploads to your story submission are no longer possible until the winners are announced. Oh, okay, so I can post it after the 31st.
That's absolutely frustrating because people don't know that. So they're kind of like, hey, you can't even post to say that I can't upload it, right?
Right, exactly. I can't post anything.
Unless you can try and post in comments, but that'll get lost. Yeah, that's pretty bad.
I can't. Well, right. No one's going to see it.
Yeah.
You don't get a notification like you do with a new post. And I don't know. I can't put up an edit of like a previous episode and like add another little panel that says, hey, we're like, I can't do anything.
Wow.
So, I don't know. I just have to wait a month.
It's essentially like the hardcore rule of SAT testing, like pencils down. Like you can't write any. But like really, and the fact that you can't contact them is very frustrating. So, oh shoot. Well, I commend you though. That what you've still done is just an incredible amount of work. So, for those who are watching, go check out Fuzzy Comics on Webtoons. It said Dead Air, right?
Yes. Dead Air. And what's weird is I read that they don't really. I mean, I appreciate all love that I get, so I don't really care. But they stopped counting like views and stuff after the 30th too.
Okay.
So like literally
really?
nothing can be. I don't know. I don't know why they did it this way. It's weird.
Well, I think I posted the link. Yes. So at least you can go see it and see the amazing work of Fuzzy Comics and go support him directly, even if Webtoons is not doing a great job of that right now. And let's check out the Origami Princess. So you can see the first part of that. So please go check out these amazing comics. We'll give Fuzzy some love. And we will just have to wait for the last bit after they announce the winners. So with all that, what are you working on today?
I'm working on a book cover. Just enjoying my freedom, I guess, from the from all of that.
Is this a book cover for someone else or for yourself?
It is for someone else.
Very cool. Let's see. Black Manic Art says he might be able to join in 20 minutes.
Nice.
Sounds great. Yeah, I'm actually doing something similar today. I'm also taking a break from working on my graphic novel or the little mini comic and doing some, oh my gosh, I keep calling it fan art, but you can't call it fan art if you do it.
Like of your own stuff?
Yeah.
You can be a fan of your own stuff.
I am a fan of I'm happy like how it's working out. So yeah, it's nice. It's really nice to finally for once draw again. I haven't inked for a while because I've been doing a lot of colors. So it's kind of engaging that other side of my brain that's like, whoa, I haven't done this for a bit.
Is it non-canonical? Is that why it's technically fan art, or what? Why are you wanting to call it that?
Because I'm posting Happy 4th of July overhead. And it's yeah, I don't know. It was just something kind of fun I want to draw and put on Instagram, and something that I didn't have to worry too much about being perfect. And get faster at actually drawing these things. Promotional art, so then promotional art. I'd say that.
Sure. It depends on your point of view. I mean, if you're using it to sell your stuff, then technically it's promotional art. But
it's soft promotion, kind of, sort of for fun, trying to get some new eyes and.
Oh well, yeah, then it's definitely promotional.
Yeah. Okay. These spacesuits are crazy. Do you have any plans for tomorrow?
Oh, tomorrow's the 4th, isn't it? No, not really. Just just working, you know.
Yeah. I know.
So hopefully I'm going to finish this cover today and then do the chapter icons tomorrow. And I don't know. We'll see. Yesterday was recovery day. Because what was it? So Tuesday I finished the comic, and then Wednesday I basically just slept the whole day, and then Thursday, yesterday was like mental recovery. Like my wife and I hung out and goofed around and played video games, and that was a lot of fun.
That sounds great. What are you guys playing?
Legend of Zelda Minish Cap.
What was that last part?
I think it's called Minish Cap. Minish something.
Oh, I've not heard of that one.
So much fun. It's where he basically Link. I mean, it starts off kind of like any other story, right? But he has to go get this magic sword fixed by these little people, these little tiny people, and to do that, he has to shrink himself down to go meet them.
What?
It's adorable.
Amazing.
You're like marching through little clovers and like underneath like acorns and stuff. It's so much fun. It's a blast. The only downside is that in certain parts you're actually tiny on the screen.
Oh.
So like, and it's a Game Boy game. So like you're like, we have it blown up on our TV, which makes it a little easier, but like you're like tiny and you have to like time things. It's a little difficult, but it's not impossible. It's super fun.
Is it a local co-op?
What?
Is it a local co-op so you guys can play together, or you just sort of?
No, we just hand it off to each other.
Oh.
You know, take turns.
Yeah. I've not heard that one. I will have to check it out. My husband and I enjoy the Zelda games. Although,
there's a bunch of silliness that goes along with it, which is mostly fun, you know.
Yeah.
Like his it's called the Minish Cap because his hat is alive. And it, like, let's see if I can.
Is this new?
No, not really. I don't think.
Oh, okay.
It's. What year did it come out? I said Game Boy, so it can't be that new. Yeah, 2005.
Oh. Sad to say that's not too long ago. Oh, okay, that's
It's 15 years ago.
crap. that's like 5.
So this is
7 years ago. No.
This is some of the art.
Carol. Oh, yes. Okay. I have seen this.
So he's got that goofy duck hat or whatever. And then,
yes. I thought that someone had just made that up for fun. And they made a little fan art comic, but that's an actual game.
Yeah, and I think... Oh, this is even better. If I can bring this...
Minish Cap?
Yes. Minish. Like, it's super fun.
Oh, my word.
Yeah.
That's just delightful.
I love every second of it. It's fantastic.
That's so fun. Well, I'll have to check that out. And yeah, we've played all the other Zelda games. Actually, my husband has. I haven't played Skyward Sword, and we've definitely not played Breath of
the Wild.
Yeah, I know.
I haven't. Well, I don't own a Switch. I haven't played any of the Switch games. I don't know. I'm pretty far behind in terms of like video games. The newest console I have is a GameCube.
I hear you. A GameCube. Nice. Nah, I get it. I'm playing a bunch of older, well, not a bunch, but pretty much any game I play, it's fairly old because I don't keep up with the times. I'm busy making art.
Well, it's not like I don't want to play all the fun stuff. It's just I'm not. I don't know. I'm not there yet.
I think that's a-okay. But it is fun when gaming does happen. Okay.
It's also the money.
Yeah, it's true. I've also turned into more of a social gamer over the last several years. So I used to follow whatever my brother played. So he played a lot of, my older brother, a lot of like first person shooters and things of that nature and PC games. And so I just kind of follow whatever he'd play. But, since I've been married and have friends, I enjoy playing more games that you can play with others. So my husband and I just got Borderlands 3 and plan on playing that because we can play together.
Yeah.
So
local co-ops are definitely I don't really love the online stuff as much. But like I spent all of basically all of college and some of high school playing nothing but Smash Bros. It was nonstop.
That's a good way of either making or breaking friendships.
Yeah. We got pretty competitive with it though. I wouldn't say we were anywhere near the competition level, but we were. Yeah. I feel like we would have done well at local competitions, but hard to know without having done it.
Yeah. Black Manic says 2005 is not that long ago for some of us.
Well, that's what she was saying. It doesn't actually feel that long ago.
No, and it's like
2005 feels like it was yesterday, and it was in fact 15 years ago. I saw a stupid post.
15 years ago. What? Go ahead.
That's crazy. It's insanity. I saw a post recently. It was so stupid. Somebody was like, "We're closer to 2050 than we are 1990." And I don't know if you can do the math on that, but we are equivalently distant from both of those dates.
Yeah. It feels like it's speeding closer, I guess, but even the thought of that as a comparison is a little like, oh.
It is odd to think that we're equally distant from those things.
Right? Yeah. Oh my
1990. Well, I wasn't born in 1990, but how old are you?
I'm 32, so I got the tail end of the 80s. So, but I don't consider myself an 80s kid at all.
Well, no, because you would have been
2.
Yeah, you wouldn't have really remembered it.
Nope. So I'm much more of a 90s kid. What year were you born?
92.
Okay, yeah. 92.
So I was just old enough to vaguely remember the 90s, but not totally.
I just remember, let's see, I turned 10 in 98, so millennium was formidable age of 12. Yes, I do that. Whatever. I'm sorry, I can't draw and math at the same time. But so even like the early 2000s were kind of like that nostalgic late 90s, early 2000s, fun stuff. Okay. Well, how am I doing? Okay, I'm doing okay. I'm trying to see how much I can get done in 2 hours.
How long has it been?
It's been about an hour, almost an hour.
Boy. Can you make it?
I don't know. You're going to switch you while it's saving. No, actually, it is saving a lot faster now, so that's good. This looks terrible. Okay, try again. A little better. Black Manic 80s and early 90s were the best for me. There was always some part of me that wished I could have been an adult in the 90s. That looked kind of cool. And Dano says, we used to play a lot of local stuff like Sports Friends. Yes, we did, my friend. Oh, Sports Friends. That's a good game.
I don't know that one.
Oh gosh, it was played. Dano, you might have to help me out. Was it on the Wii? It was something with the Wii, I think. That's how we played it. But they had a pole vaulting game, which had nothing to do with pole vaulting, and you basically were just trying to like hit this ball into a net with pole vaults. Just total ridiculousness. It was. Those were fun games. I approve. Okay, well, that bit is going to be as good as it gets. I think.
Yeah, I'll come back to this. Not feeling it. Not feeling that particular pose. He just looks too like, I don't know, not stiff, but just like too airy, I guess.
Oh, I missed it. I saw a little bit in the beginning, but
yeah, well, just these poses that I have here, they feel a little too like they were just supposed to be sketches, so it's not a big deal. But like, to do true pencils, I feel like they're not quite alive enough.
Mm-hmm.
So
and it's hard because they're locked into the seats as well.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, and you're kind of airy when you do that, like when you're being pushed along, but it just doesn't feel like manic enough, like how you would feel on a roller coaster. So
could you have one of them, if one of them is like totally scared, like have his or her knees like pulled up tight, almost in a fetal position, like totally like cringing?
I know. Oh, pardon me. I don't want to cover the. I mean, it might not be a bad idea.
I mean, obviously, do what is the best, but
yeah, the trouble is like putting them in a position that doesn't feel awkward, but then also making sure that you can see them as a whole character.
Yeah.
And like, the moment that you bring the legs up, right, you start covering up parts of the character.
Maybe not that high though, but like where the thighs are a little more foreshortened. So like, here, 1 second. Let me see if I can. We can do this because we're drawing and live streaming. So I'm gonna put on my screen for a sec. Oh my goodness!
Do you want to screenshot it without the?
Nah, I think it's fine. I'll just wow. Come on, clip. Pull it together. Okay. So like Here's a torso. Kind of like, I'm trying to think, maybe if like one of these, if it was more foreshortened, kind of like kicking motion, where you kind of like get that angle on one of them. There's another thought I had. What was it? Maybe one of these guys' legs could be like, you kind of have it here already, but like out, or I can't seem to do it right. With like the bottom of the shoe, so you can see that. So it looks like they're kind of bracing for impact. So anyways, otherwise, I think it looks fine. I don't think it looks too stiff. But that could be like they're kind of like kicking or squirming, or you know, like when someone takes a picture and you're like, oh, it look kind of ugly. Or
no, those are perfect. Yeah, I think
something.
I think I will use that.
Yeah, take a screenshot or whatever works.
What, man? Oh my gosh, I keep yawning.
I love digital art. It makes it so easy. Here, I'll go back to you. But yeah, I love digital art, but I like drawing traditionally with pencil first. Okay, I'm gonna throw some. I gotta just finish this guy's suit. Taking too long. Oh, hello. That's okay. Oh, no. Kitty, you can't sit on my tablet. I'm sorry. I know. You can sit in my lap if you want. Here you go.
Give me 2 seconds here.
I tried, Kitty. We lost your video feed. Unless
I turned it off on purpose. I need to get a picture.
Reference picture.
Yep. Won't let me do both at the same time.
Keep one of those freestanding mirrors in rooms sometimes where I like just look over like, okay, yeah. And a tripod. Okay. That looks decent. All right.
Man. All right. I will actually have to go for a second. Hold on.
Don't worry. Take care of what you need to do. I'll be here for a bit. It is 3:04 and I need to finish up. Oh man, I'm terrible at speed drawing. But it's really good practice working faster. Hi, look, kitty. Come on. Are you going to sit in the lap or not? Huh? I know it's Friday, but it's still not even 4 o'clock. No, you may not sit on the Wacom tablet. I'm sorry. Come on. Bear with me. I know. Hey, let's grab this. Come on, sit in the lap. I really like having my cat in my lap, but she doesn't like that I'm sitting up against a desk. It doesn't really give her a whole lot of space, but I can't really do my art otherwise. So sorry, I'll let you out. There you go. Be free. Goodbye. There you go. I'm gonna hang on to this blanket because I'm chilled. Okay, here we go. What was I doing? Just making a space boot. Space boot. Space boot. That might be good enough. Record. Wow, come on. Perfect, good enough. And any of the things you start figuring out as you are trying to draw something from real life. So I realized that the spacesuit I'm drawing has usually any spacesuit that you use has some. Oh goodness, I'm going to slay the technicalities, but it has like a pack. Oop, and we have people in the back. Here you go. Wow, everyone is here. Sorry, guys.
We're back.
Hello, welcome again, and welcome, Craig.
Hi.
Hopefully, you guys weren't there that long.
Nope.
Just start talking. Well, happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
I would ask if you had any plans for the weekend, but I don't think there are typically Canadian celebrations for the 4th, unless I am mistaken.
No, we have Canada Day on July 1st, which just went by, but because of the, restrictions, nothing really was done.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Backyard barbecue and call it good?
Yeah, well, that's kind of an every weekend thing, so.
Yeah. This is true. Yeah, we're just hanging out, the two of us. I don't mind. It's apparently illegal to buy fireworks here in Florida, where we live. And I love fireworks. I love the 4th of July. It's actually one of my favorite holidays, but it's definitely more fun enjoyed with other people. So I was like, I don't want to spend a lot of money buying fireworks. So it's like, yep, there they go.
That is so surreal to me. You guys are more spread out, right? In Florida, I would assume that you guys there's more distance between houses and stuff.
Yeah, there is.
Well, fireworks are completely allowed over here. And in St. Louis, it's like everybody's packed super tight, which would make me think, bad idea. No one should have fireworks. But you go out, you step outside, and there's people in the 50 people in the alleyway, all lighting off their own fireworks, shooting them into the air.
Yeah, we grew up in Washington State. At least where we were growing up, they allowed them, and then now it seems like they don't in that area. In the greater suburbs of Seattle, it's very, very limited. So at least we got our adventure and our fun as kids. But honestly, even in Florida, you don't really want to be outside that long. It's just so muggy, and typically it almost is thunderstorming every afternoon, anyways, and evening. So we'll watch them on the TV. So, Craig, what are you working on today?
Well, I'm trying to finish that page I was working on last time. I just I got the figures the way I want. I just got to start adding some detail into the background and some shading and effects and things.
Mm-hmm. I like that shading, that dramatic shading.
Well, yeah, she's been captured by the alien species, thrown into a truck, and carted off somewhere. So it's a dramatic moment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's very cool. Good lighting.
And you're working on a special 4th of July sort of poster thing.
Yeah, I'll bring it up really fast and I'll go back to you. I'm doing, this is Kyle, one of my characters, and Stella, and I just wanted to do something fun because everything else I'm working on right now, it takes a lot of brain power and it's a little difficult to stream and work on at the same time. So I figured it'd be fun to make some 4th of July art and promotional art. That's what we're calling it.
I love the astronaut. He's really cartoony cute, you know?
Yeah. Whimsy. So I'll put Earth down here and maybe some fireworks going off of Earth. So my challenge today is to see how far I can get in, well, less than an hour now. We'll see. I'm just trying to get a little faster because I'm not worried too much about being perfect.
Yeah.
It's a challenge.
I've always struggled with that. A need for perfection has prevented me from doing a lot of things. I'd start something and then be like not happy with it, and then just that's no good, you know. And,
it's true.
Yeah, and I mean even this project, I made a deliberate choice to keep the characters as simple as I could.
Yeah. To
just keep it really simple, really clean. I'm going for kind of almost an old school animated cell shaded kind of look.
Yep. Yes, I could see that.
And I just have to kind of just let go of this need for perfection. You know, the hand might not be perfect, and yeah, I could add a whole lot of detail and make it look prettier, but that's not my objective.
Yeah. I mean, especially for comics, you're making a great drawing and then you're doing it again and again and again. And I mean, I was crunching the math. I was like, if I were to keep my same pace and try and get my comic done, I'd be doing this for the next 20 years, probably.
You have to draw the line somewhere.
Yeah, really.
And I mean, the stuff you're producing is beautiful. So, I think you certainly are producing quality work.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Though I think I need to, I'm starting to learn where I can draw the line, where I can make the most important elements pretty, and then the rest, the other elements of like a page, you're not going to notice if that line is not perfect or whatnot. Just kind of keep moving. So just from drawing this today, because I figured I don't think I could live stream it and actually draw a character. It's way too much brain power right now. But even just drawing it, I was trying to keep pace, and I don't know. I was just kind of learning, like it was almost starting to click a little bit more, being like I can still enjoy what I'm doing, kind of just let go and let it happen and enjoy it more and not be so frazzled about making every line perfect. So, I mean, it's almost like going back to how I drew as a kid, because you don't really care. Like, it's okay, like whatever. And I think at a certain point in a lot of artist journeys, it's easy to get to a point where like, oh my gosh, this has to work. If it's not perfect, then I'm not perfect and Lord. Realizing it was like, you know what? No one cares.
It doesn't have to be perfect. And I think, that's something that experienced artists, and they sort of develop a natural ability to identify what's the important piece of this that I need to put the emphasis on. that I need to put a little more detail in, and what can I just let fade into the background a little bit, a little less detail, a little less, dramatic lighting, a little less whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm starting to see that a little bit more, and that it's very exciting when you can start seeing like, oh, I can cut some corners here. It's not being lazy, it's just being smart.
Yeah.
Like you said, experience.
Well, I think you find that in almost all art forms. Like photographers work really hard to, get the right depth of field and to sort of get the focus right so that the subject stands out.
Mm-hmm.
And as an artist, you almost have to think a little bit like a photographer sometimes.
Yeah.
You know?
Totally shared information and shared traits. Very much so.
I mean, I loved superhero kind of comics when I was a kid. I mean, if you like to draw and you see these amazingly detailed figures with every muscle insertion, and all that, like people like David Finch, the amount of detail he puts into his work and how quickly he does it blows me away. But that's not really what I'm going for.
Yeah. And you say yes to something, you say no to something else.
Yeah. And I actually find for myself personally, if you get too much detail, I have trouble taking it all in.
Yes, it's very true, because it slows down your brain's perception rate or
Yeah.
rate.
You almost can't appreciate it all because there's too much clutter.
Yeah.
When I worked with kids with various learning challenges and developmental disabilities, we used to assess visual perceptual abilities.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things we would assess would be what they call figure ground, which is essentially the ability, like when you go to your junk drawer and you need to find something, some people can just open the drawer up, look at the big clutter, and visually pick out what they want. And other people can't. And it's a particular cognitive skill to be able to look at that clutter of things and focus your attention on the thing you need to focus it on. Some people can't do it. And I think I'm one of those people. Because I struggle if there's too much clutter to pick out the important pieces.
Well, or at least it can be amplified for certain people. I mean, it's almost like the Pinterest effect. I went on Pinterest today, and I kind of like in the back of my mind before you went on there, I was like, I gotta make sure I come here for what I came here for. And almost immediately, as soon as I got there, like I saw this pretty picture, and I was just kind of like, I can even recognize I almost forgot completely what I was there for one moment.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, it's interesting. It's interesting how our brains work and take in visual information.
I meant to ask you, Fuzzy, because you said you had another job you were doing while you were working on all this stuff for Webtoons.
Yeah, for a bit there.
Oh, are you still doing that, or no?
No. I've quit since. Why? What was your question? Was that the question?
Well, I was wondering what it was you were doing, and.
I was working in a salon. I was cutting hair.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I did hear you talk about that. I thought you had something else that you were doing as well.
Well, I mean.
So that was your job right before.
What?
That was your job prior to.
Yeah. So before this, I did I worked in a Great Clips, and then and I don't know. I mean, my wife and I started a business where we draw houses and landmarks and things. Kind of like, I don't know, house portrait stuff.
Oh, cool.
It's a fun little business. We still work on that. And then this and her painting are the stuff that happen, on the when we have time, right?
What kind of painting does she do?
She does a lot of landscaping, but also, landscapes and figure work. But it's hard to specify what that means without showing you.
Yeah. Like acrylics and oils.
Oils primarily. Yeah.
Oh, good on her.
But also watercolor as well.
Yeah. Oils were fun to work with. I'm come from more of a watercolor background, so that's still my favorite. But I definitely tried oils for like a summer, and there is something very enchanting about it. Yeah, something very satisfying too. But
yes,
they are tricky to master. That is for sure.
Oh yeah, I obviously, when I was in art school, just like anybody else, you have to go through a certain number of things, right? And that was one of them, and I definitely tried it and didn't like it. No, that's not fair. It's not that I didn't like it. It's just that I realized that I wasn't. It was an entirely different thing.
Yeah. Okay, I have a question. When you did your art school, were they like? So when I learned oils for the very first time, I don't think I can fault whoever taught us, but I remember like our class was like, all right, we get to learn oils today, and she's like, all right, start painting, and we're like, what? Like, you're here to teach us, and she's like, yeah, just start painting, and we're like, what do we do?
Yeah, no, that's exactly what happened. Yeah.
Which, in their defense, it's kind of how you kind of have to, but
no, don't give them excuses. Don't give them excuses. That's why this garbage art education exists.
I will say this. There were merits to just starting, but I would have appreciated, like, here's at least 10 minutes to load up your paintbrush and do more.
When I went to cosmetology school, they taught us in a way that I am confused why it isn't treated this way in every art school ever. They said, you will have a section of time, like maybe a week, like the days would usually be the first few hours are spent in your book, and then the practical stuff is like the last couple hours.
Yeah.
Practicing what you just learned. And some days you didn't have practical stuff because you didn't have practical stuff because the information was not enough yet. Right?
Right, exactly.
And I know everyone says practice is how you learn, but it's not. It's not the only way you learn.
Not the only way. Right.
The amount of books I've read on how to draw kind of contradict that entirely, and it bothers me that there isn't really any book learning when it comes to art school. I don't remember picking up a single book when I was in art class that taught me how to draw.
Huh.
There were art appreciation classes where you never did any drawing.
Yeah. But
then those weren't required of you as an art student. Those were for non-art students.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't know. It's not that the information isn't out there. It just feels weird that I have to go find it myself, even though I paid someone to teach me.
A lot of money to teach you.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's one of the reasons I really appreciated something like the illustration masterclass I took back in 2015. Is it definitely was more of that, where there was lectures and we actually talked about composition and we talked about like this is what you're looking for in your illustration, what you got to put in here. And then the people who actually do the oil painting, like come by your station and say, no, actually, this is how you want to apply the paint. Let me show you.
Right.
Yeah, and that was amazing.
And with oil paints in particular, there definitely is technique that you could study from a book or from someone who knew.
Well, yeah, there's names for things. There's so much. And then the thing that would happen inevitably is that a teacher would come up and say, well, you should apply this and this. And I say, what the heck is that?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
good luck.
What are you talking about? What does impasto mean?
Oh, yeah.
And they're like, oh, yeah. And then they just they're like, I'm like, you guys, like, I don't know any of this. That's the whole point of me being here.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's unfortunate. You really got a bust experience then.
It's frustrating primarily because it's not everywhere, but it's not uncommon. And I'm angry all the time whenever I talk about.
Sorry to bring it up. Oh.
It's the same thing over again of me being angry at stuff just because I like being angry. I don't know.
No, ranting is not the same as being an angry person. But yeah, I mean, I was going to say something on that note. I forgot. Yeah, like I learned a lot of other things from my college experience that I would definitely not learn on my own, or would have taken me a lot longer. And admittedly, I think art school aside, even apart from that, it's just a self-learned journey in art. You really, if you want to become a good artist, if you want to make the art you want to make, you got to really figure it out and go find those people and go find those classes and those courses. And
yeah, but that's what people are doing. That's what people assume they're doing when they go to college.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I think definitely the traditional form of curriculum needs a change. But yeah, like it never is a journey of, you're always learning as an artist. Right. It's interesting. I get asked a lot from people, how they want, their kids to, good art, promising art skills, and they're really good artists for their age, and it's really exciting. Sometimes they'll ask me like, well, what other art instruction can they learn, or can I sign them up for something? And depending on the age, certain kids receive that differently. I know when I was fairly young, my mom put me in art classes, and I was kind of bored to tears. Like, I loved drawing, but I didn't want to learn the fundamentals. Not until I was much older, like at least a tween. But so it's interesting. I always think that's like, if, I always tell people, like, the best thing you can do is just encourage them, like praise them for what they're doing, give them good feedback, and let them know that, let them draw what they're really passionate about. Because that's what's going to really propel them to keep going, even when they have to learn difficult things, for art related and whatnot.
Right. I think being a kid is different. Obviously, when you are a little kid, there's a lot of, what you said is pretty spot on, right? You don't want to be getting your doctorate when you're 5, right? So like, that's theory. That stuff is inevitably going to feel really boring to a 5-year-old or like an 8-year-old, whatever. Mm-hmm. But like when the whole point is that you're like, okay, now I'm ready to be the college student and learn all the boring stuff. Mm-hmm. And then you get there and it's like, nope, we're I don't know. I'm just gonna keep ranting. I just feel like I'm just gonna keep wasting air by.
Did you have okay, I have a question then. So did you ever have like a different art teacher maybe growing up, or someone an artist you looked up to that did teach you some good fundamentals?
The best art teacher I had was my best friend. who was the same age as me.
Is he still an artist?
He's not an artist by profession, but he is a good artist. I don't know.
Cool.
But yeah, we would draw together, and then we would yell at each other and tell each other how much we sucked.
You can do that better.
And that was, well, yeah, but I never got any, like, there was no other point in my life where I got better faster than that.
Yeah.
To have
competition.
Yeah, to have a person I respected and trusted to tell me, no, that's horrible. What you just did there is mediocre at best.
Yeah.
You know, and people, I don't know, I feel like going to college especially made me realize that so many people are ready to cry whenever they're told that their stuff isn't good.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, like, that's the worst way to go about being anything. Like, you can't be ready to cry when they tell you got a math problem wrong.
Yeah.
It's,
that's cool.
I don't know.
No, that's, having those friendships and those people that can give you that honest feedback is gold, especially in those formative years. Oh boy, I might have to come back to this hand. Ooh. Here, actually, I'm going to put on you, Fuzzy, if you don't mind, and I'm going to
Not at all.
find reference. Let's see. Grab the phone, take a picture of the hand. Well, maybe what I'll do is, if I don't color this, I could at least just do the outline. Okay, that should work. Let's do one more.
For a while there, I wanted to be an art teacher, just as like a side thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then it occurred to me that there probably wouldn't be a whole lot of kids who could handle me. Like, I would be really mean. Not intentionally, of course. I'm not trying to be mean to kids, but like, they would see me as mean.
I think you gotta leave that up for kids to, or your students to decide. What kind of art teacher were you thinking of?
I don't know. I liked the idea of like the old school apprenticeship type things where you just found an artist and asked to train under them.
Mm-hmm.
So nothing like licensed or anything, just where somebody would sit down with me and I would tell them how to do better.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, like a mentor, tutor.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like the old, like I'm talking like freaking Da Vinci and stuff back in those times when your career would have been built around the idea of studying under someone, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And that's
kind of lost art, no pun intended, but.
Well, it is. You're right. I mean, nobody. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just rehashing.
I'm sure I was too.
Again, that's what I appreciated about something like the illustration master class is even they do have some programs like that, which, you know, it's only 10 years ago, 13. They're about 13 years old, that class. So, yeah, it was nice to do only a week long, but minor, you know, apprenticeship, if you will, with some of those artists. And that was really cool. Let's see.
Sounds a lot more like trade school. I mean, trade schools are the only place you kind of find that anymore. You know?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see some definite similarities in learning to be an artist and learning, you know, a hands-on kind of trade. There's some parallels there for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it doesn't stop there though, right? Like when I went to, I keep going back to this because it's my only frame of reference, right? But when I was in cosmetology school, we learned a lot of stuff, but we didn't stop learning and stop growing after that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, some people did, but like you leave and then you go on to learn as much as you can after the fact and become your own version of a of that, you know, that type of artist, that type of hairstylist, right? And you say like, I'm going to be, you know, I'm going to use these as what they are, lessons, and then I'm going to build on them. And
that's kind of neat. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just filling air. What were you going to say?
I was going to say it's neat that that's still like very, I mean, cosmology school and art school, I mean, art, in fact, of like learning the arts share a lot of similar trains of thoughts where it's like, you know, you study to become the hairdresser you want to, or the artist you want to, or fill in the blank that you want to.
Right.
That's really neat. Okay. Well, it'll do. Good enough.
Gosh darn it.
One of you has some awesome cricket or frog sounds in the background. Is that you, Craig?
I don't think so, no.
Is it? Here, I'm going to mute myself.
Sounds like Fuzzy.
Yeah.
Gosh darn it, what the heck would that be?
No, I love it. I love that sound.
Well, that's good, but I don't have any crickets in here.
Actually, hold on. Oh, okay. No, it might be just the whistling of an air vent, but it sounds like...
Okay, that's definitely going on behind me, so...
I've heard this before in our previous streams, and every time I'm like, oh, it sounds like the sounds of summer, because I'd always hear, like, frogs in the backyard, you know? I'm like, someone has, like, frogs or something. Hi.
What are the frogs that make all the peepers or something?
Yeah, spring peepers,
yeah.
or whatever you're called. But yep, I haven't really heard them anywhere else we've lived except for really growing up in Washington. We get crickets here though.
What are the Japanese ones that make all the noise? Are they
Cicadas?
Cicadas? Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I played a video game and they had that as the background in almost every scene of the game, and there's something that was really kind of soothing about it. It was kind of
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they're very loud, but it's very Japanese. It's also in other, like, we get them here in Florida. We've gotten them on the East Coast as well, but especially something about hearing them in Japan. Yeah, it was very, very soothing.
I mean, for me, not having spent much time there, when I hear that, I think of Japan, you know.
Oh, that's cool. It is a thing. We would occasionally see them on the trees there. They're big, big bugs.
Yeah. Nice to listen to, not to look at.
I'll say they're nice to listen to unless you have one like right outside your window at 4 a.m. You're like, the novelty kind of wears off a little. Not too much. That didn't happen very often.
It's a really interesting. It's an interesting culture, and just the I guess the only word for it would be the foreign ways of doing things. Like my wife, when she worked for a school board teaching English, and they provided her with a house, and it would go down below 0 in the winter, not far, but the house had no central heating. But then there was like heating underneath the table.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you'd have like these blankets you would put over your legs when you sit at the table, and there'd be heat coming out from under the table, and it's just interesting, the different ways that different cultures do things.
That specifically is called a kotatsu, and correct me if I'm wrong. But that was, our friends had one. We had to live on base, so we did not get the full Japanese house experience. But yeah, people had those. They would like buy them and bring them into their house, and they were amazing. But like you said, it's fun to see the different ways that a different culture problem solves.
Yeah.
And even something simple like, you look at houses here in North America, and they all, for the most part, have a pretty similar look or style. Like, this is how the windows look in a house, and they lift up or they open this way. And the Japanese, like the way, I just remember like looking at their windows, and they they solved, I don't know, they just looked different, but it made sense, like how they constructed their windows, and they all had a different look, but it still worked.
Yeah.
So
I know I for a number of years, and I still kind of have an interest in woodworking, and the way that North Americans construct things compared to the way that Asian cultures construct things is very different. And particularly in Japanese historical culture, in their woodworking, they have a lot of wood joints that don't require any fasteners. Like they took the time to design a way to put wood together so you didn't have to use a nail.
yes.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. They build whole buildings like that.
Yeah, and it's again just a different way of problem solving something, but it works.
Oh yeah, and the furniture is beautiful when it's built that way.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. They use a certain kind of fir tree, I think, or a wood spruce. It's like a cedar or spruce. I think it's called hinoki.
Mm-hmm.
And so like even just being there and like waiting at the train station, you see the trees on the hill on the other side, and you kind of there's that scent in the air and then you smell it in the Japanese homes too, because they have that kind of wood or that spruce in there, and it's so Japanese. I love that scent. I miss that. And you just can't get it here.
Yeah.
It's very, very cool.
Yeah, the tatami mat flooring.
Yes.
And the what I found fascinating when I first went to visit my friend there, his wife, they had a rice cooker that was a very modern device. But like this thing was on 24/7. It was on 24/7, 24 hours a day. You could just go up to this rice cooker, and there was always rice in it.
Yes. Oh, I love it.
Always there, ready to eat.
Good rice.
Yeah.
We ate rice and we enjoyed rice before we lived in Japan, but our appreciation for rice grew substantially after living there.
Mm-hmm.
Because they take pride in it. Like you'd go to the grocery store and you'd buy the rice, and it would say like the region it was from, and like certain regions were better, hoity-toity, and that's so yummy.
I also found, like, his wife was Japanese, and I had the opportunity to go and meet her parents.
Oh, cool.
Which was really interesting. But in the community that they lived in, and I honestly don't remember exactly where it was, because I whipped all over the place, and within a month, I was all over the country. But the the land that the houses were on was so tiny, and their yards, you're talking about like 10 square feet of yard with a beautiful stone fence around it, and they took so much care in creating a beautiful space with so little space. They really valued and appreciated it, and it's so different from like in Canada in particular. We have so much land, and people outside of big cities have huge properties, and they don't have that kind of care and appreciation for them.
Same in the States.
Yeah, it's the same here. People are, I mean, because you get the country areas, and like it's like people with yards so big that you can't like see the end of them.
Oh yeah.
And you're like, and they just don't care,
Yeah.
They're like, this is normal.
And there's just different
values.
Of the land, the ownership. And I remember seeing like the streets are so clean in Japan. Yeah. And I remember seeing, some like Japanese lady out in the morning at 6 a.m. or 5 a.m, whatever, like sweeping in front of this, like her house, and kind of like a little street in front of her house too, and picking up the trash. Like it's all about consideration, being considerate.
Well, in the school that my wife taught in, and I guess this was commonplace across all of the public schooling, I think it was public school, that the children actually did most of the janitorial duties. That was part of the culture, that the children would mop and wipe the floors and pick up the garbage and clean the bathrooms and take ownership of the school, and value and appreciate it.
Wow, we could use that.
It's an interesting, and it goes to that whole collectivist mindset, like the group is more important than the individual,
right?
Which is historically the way a lot of Asian cultures were. I don't know if that's still true today, but
it can, at least while we were there. Yes, that was kind of the thought. And I mean, I'm not to say that they did not have their issues, because they had their things that they really struggle with, and things that come easily to other cultures, were much more of a challenge to them. But it was really, it just was kind of like, oh man, a lesson learned, how we could learn to be more considerate and help, and just taking pride in what we do, like doing a job and doing it well.
Yeah, for sure. No, I mean, my wife, when she was there, she was single at the time, and of course, it is a patriarchal society. Men kind of rule the roost. Although I think behind the scenes, the women rule the men. But on the surface, it certainly is a patriarchal society. But she said, in many ways, she found the hierarchy of the society very comforting. As a Westerner coming into it, like if they had like a dinner that all of the staff had to go to, it was very clear to everybody where you sit, and it was very clear to everybody when you speak and when you don't speak, and who you can speak to and how you speak to them. Like there was a lot of protocol around all of that.
Yeah.
And everybody knew sort of their place in it. And she said she found that rather comforting. Now, if that was her whole life being a woman in Japan, I'm sure there are big drawbacks. But she said there was aspects of the culture like that she actually found pretty comforting as a foreigner being there. I don't know what your experience was, but
I didn't have that. I mean, she had more experience because she worked there, and I didn't work off base. So I have more limited experience on that in particular. I'm trying to think. Yeah, we got to experience more of just the social cultural side in more of like a visit, like a guest, I guess.
Yeah.
We learned that they did karaoke very differently than how we did karaoke. Oh man, there's a story.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Well, so karaoke. I'll say this. My husband loves to sing. I like trying to sing every now and then, but I also know that I'm like, it's just not my calling in life. And so, but anyway, so I didn't really like karaoke until we lived in Japan. And are you familiar with Asian style karaoke?
I went to one when I was there. It was like a little private room, and it was just the 5 of us, and it was pretty cool. Yeah.
Yep. So that's basically by and large how they do karaoke is you rent out a room instead of singing in front of a bar. You rent out a room at like an hourly rate. It's just like a little cubby hole, and there's a table in there and a TV, and you usually have to order drinks from them. One place we went to, you could actually go and get your own food and bring it back and bring it in there, as long as you like ordered like one thing from their menu. And you could get a small room if it's just a few of you. You could get a big room if it's a bunch. And so anyways, I was a part of this cultural group with a bunch of other Japanese ladies and a lot of American ladies and spouses. And we would like every month do some kind of American thing on base with them. And then we would go off base and they would show some cultural Japanese activity, which is really fun. And so we did like kimonos and we did certain Japanese crafts together and everything. And so they took us out for a bonenkai, us ladies and our husbands and our spouses, and we all went. And bonenkai is where you go eat, drink, be merry, have, wonderful dinner. And then afterwards you go do karaoke. And as Americans, we really enjoyed having these own rooms, and so everyone would just raucously sing at the same time and jump up and down and get all excited. And I remember like afterwards realizing it's like I think kind of like scared them a little, or just like they just looked kind of like surprised, and we asked them like, sorry, like that seemed very loud, and they're like, no, it's okay. Normally in Japan when we do karaoke, like one person sings and then the other people listen, and then we're all like singing at the same time.
That's funny.
It was just funny. They were amazingly sweet people.
Yeah, I know. When I was in Tokyo, and I've had some of my friends tell me different things. Like if I was in the train station in Tokyo, of course, there's millions and millions of people go through there in a day, and during rush hour. And, but if I stopped for more than 5 seconds to like look at a sign or something, somebody would approach me and offer to help me.
Yes. Is that because we just look clueless, or
I don't know, but I took it in the best possible light, and I thought, what a lovely culture.
That happened to us.
Yeah, my friends said that it's partly because they really love the opportunity to practice their English, but it's still a nice thing,
Yes. That was another thing I was going to say is, oftentimes you'd be like trying to figure out where you go, and you don't even ask for help, and someone comes up and be like, do you need assistance? Like, thanks. Yes.
Yeah, it was really nice.
It also made it difficult. I was learning some Japanese while I was there, and so these times where they would want to practice their English, and like we would want to practice our Japanese. And end up being like, okay, I'll just speak in English. Thank you. Thanks for helping us.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tokyo was a lot like that. We got around very, very easily, and we also that was where we got our first smartphone. So of course it had to translate on that, and it had apps that helped out. But Tokyo in general is such a big city, it's designed to be friendly, global city, basically.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, I know you mentioned about sort of the cleanliness of the cities. I mean, I wandered around Tokyo by myself at night. I never felt unsafe when I was there.
Yeah. Late at night too. We've been. There were a couple of spots in Tokyo that I know that you kind of wanted to be careful of at night, but like they were very few and far between, and you couldn't easily stumble into them.
Yeah.
But I mean, walking around at 2 a.m, maybe it was just my friend and I as girls, like, yeah, it was totally fine.
Yeah. I mean, that's remarkable in a city that big. For you as a young woman to feel safe and comfortable walking around like that.
Yeah.
In a foreign country,
oh my gosh. So we lived on base, so that was one thing, but like we never locked our house. I mean, like, when we were at home, like never locked our car, and that's unheard of for me. Because we always grew up doing that. And yeah, like oh my goodness. We once left our backpack on a train and got off the train. We had our passports in there, and we got up to the trains, like up the stairs, and suddenly we're like, oh, our backpack, and we ran down, and the train happened to still be there. So thank you, Lord, that didn't, that would have been horrible trying to track down our train, but like no one took it. No one took the backpack. Yeah, it's so different. Now I'm thinking of Japanese food, and oh man, so hungry. So good.
I do enjoy Japanese food too.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever have Japanese curry prior to your visit, or was that like your first time ever having it?
I've never had Japanese. Yeah, and I wasn't a big spicy food eater, but Japanese curry isn't as spicy as like Indian curry, I found.
Yeah, very much more mild.
Yeah, my wife really enjoyed. Like, she is much more familiar with the cuisine. She introduces me to things now and again. I think my favorite experience, though, was I went out with my friend who was a teacher and some of his students, and we went to this small little, I would just call it kind of a mom and pop restaurant.
Yeah.
And everything was delicious. They did serve some sushi. I wasn't big on sushi at the time. I've learned to appreciate it since. But they would serve things, and of course there's that language barrier, and I'd be like, what's this? And someone would say something, and the translation would be, it's bird. And I'm like, can you be a little more specific?
Like pigeon or turkey?
Kind of bird, isn't it? It looks awfully small. It's the ones that hang out on the wires outside. Okay, it's like a finch.
How do you say YOLO in Japanese?
But it was such a great experience,
Yeah. Well, and sometimes you would get food like that, so you're like, nah, it can't be. Wait, it really is? Oh.
Yeah, I think it really was. But you know what? I was all in at that point. I'm like, I'm here to experience the culture.
Yeah.
I don't care what it is.
I didn't think of the craziest thing having food while we were there. It's good. What that was.
What's happening? What?
Sounds like a whistling wind sound.
Oh,
is it my vent again?
It might be.
It's like a whistling frog version. No, actually, it's quieted down a lot.
Give me just a second.
Yeah, it's actually pretty good now. I just at first wasn't sure.
Okay. So, usually, I try to close the vent or keep the vent open so that it's not like that resistance whistling sound. And I don't know when that was closed, but that was probably a problem.
Mystery solved.
Mystery solved. There you go.
Yeah, so I was going to say one of the most, I mean, there's a lot of interesting stuff that we ate there and enjoyed. And I'm a fairly adventurous eater. But one thing that was really fun, I called it squid on a stick, and it was a festival. It's a festival food, and it's literally like you'd put chicken on a stick and grill it, but it's just this whole squid with the little tentacles, and they put a delicious sauce on it, and so it looked very strange.
That sounds disgusting. I'm sorry.
Oh, good. I mean, it's like, have you ever had calamari?
Yeah, it's terrible.
Okay, well then, never mind. You're in the camp that you don't like calamari, then you would not like it. But if you like calamari, it's like even more so. Like you get more of the calamari.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah,
that's good for you.
One of my friends who had been teaching in Japan eventually went to Korea, and he was teaching there for a while. He went out to dinner and, of course, couldn't understand any of the language and couldn't read the menus. And in Korea, they didn't have pictures on all the menus. Like where I went in Japan, a lot of times they had pictures or they had little plastic representations of the food, which made it super easy.
Very realistic too.
Yeah, but in Korea they didn't. So he just kind of randomly picked something and tried to just go along and be a good sport. When it came, it was some form of squid-like thing, and it was still kind of twitching a little bit. and he was given this fairly sizable shot glass with it.
You're gonna need this.
Well, what they told him was it was a rather strong alcohol in the shot glass, and he needed to drink that immediately after eating so that the suckers of the squid didn't stick to his throat. He was horrified. But I'm pretty sure he went along with it.
He played the Russian roulette of food, and
oh my gosh!
I've heard of that though.
I don't know
live squid.
Yeah, I don't know if they were kidding or not, but
no, it's real. It's like a little octopus or something, and I didn't have it, but apparently you can eat it live. I didn't know you'd have to take the shot after. YOLO. But he's like, I'm never going to Japan.
Well, Japan sounds fun. That doesn't.
No.
I'm pretty sure it's in Japan too. But
it was interesting though. For sure.
Would I try that? I don't know. That might be pushing the boundary a little bit. They were not shy about that kind of food. Oh, that's funny. I just miss getting sushi for like good quality sushi for ridiculously cheap. Oh.
Yeah.
I miss the conveyor belt restaurants. Did you get to go to one of those?
Yes, I did. That was really interesting. You just sit there and pull the plates off as they go by, and and then they charge you for however many plates you ate. That was really interesting.
And I just remember, like, at least the places we went to, like, there was a little more than what you would pay at like Chick-fil-A for a meal, if that. And you had high quality sushi, fun experience.
Yeah.
I wish we had more. We do have them, not as frequently or commonly here, but.
Well, there's a reasonable Japanese community in Halifax, Nova Scotia, and I think there was one of those restaurants set up like that in Halifax.
Really?
Which was a little unusual because you wouldn't kind of expect that, but there's enough Japanese people that they could kind of support it, and it was kind of unique, so a lot of foreigners would come and try it. And I don't know if it's still there or not. I haven't been there for a while, but
that's kind of cool.
In fact, I'm trying to think now. I think they actually had they had like a little trough with water and little boats that would go by.
Oh, cool. We didn't get to go to any of those, but I think I remember hearing about them.
It's the same idea, though.
Mm-hmm, yep. So it's just so fun. Like, I think the thing I've liked about Japan and actually Korea as well, we got to visit Korea, is it was so aesthetic. It's so creative. It was a very fun period for me to be able to be in a place that just really focus on a lot of really neat aesthetic ways of doing things.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. I don't know if we'll be able to go back someday, but I would totally love to live there again for a little bit. Maybe not. I don't know if I'd settle down, but it was definitely fun to live there.
Yeah.
It goes all too fast.
Yeah, I could see living there for a while. Like you say, I don't know if I'd want to settle down there permanently, but it would be really nice to be there for a year or so.
Yeah. Yeah. We were there for 3 years. So we got to, I would say going over a year is nice because then it takes a year to sort of figure out what's going on. And by the next year, you know what to look forward to. You kind of know what to expect.
Yeah.
And so I remember it was almost too hard. Like the first year we were there was good, but it was also hard in some ways because I think one of the hard parts is that we always at some point felt like a foreigner. Like we never kind of felt like we completely fit or could totally let our guard down. Like, I was worried like I would go drive somewhere and like maybe I would be driving on someone's property and not know it and get in trouble. I couldn't just like pull over to the side road because I don't know if I'm doing something wrong. So that was, or like knowing that like if I go out to get lunch, there's always a chance I couldn't communicate that I wanted something or so that's kind of interesting. But
that certainly takes a while to get past that and to feel safe and comfortable.
Yeah. And we really missed having a good burger.
Not any actual American burgers there, like nothing that made it.
So there were some burger places, but they were closer to Tokyo, and there was like one outside off of base that was kind of touted to be the American burger, but it was way overpriced and it was marginal. It was okay.
Like you had it?
Yeah.
So it was a mediocre American burger
at exorbitant prices, kind of like how we would buy sushi here. So I was like,
That's really upsetting.
So we had access to stuff on base. That was one of the nice things about living there and living on base and being part of the military is we still had the creature comforts. We can go to the grocery store on base and go get our Thanksgiving turkey because you couldn't find that anywhere else.
Yeah, they don't do turkeys.
No, they don't.
A lot of them don't even have ovens,
Yeah. And that was another thing. I mean, we were sad at first, like, man, we wanted to live off base and get the full experience, but like, we got to still have our amenities and still be able to get off base like in a matter of minutes, and have English-speaking neighbors, which was really nice. We had a really good community of people there. So, but so definitely pros and cons.
Best of both worlds.
Yeah, I feel like we did. I remember there was one year though so the base always like shipped in Christmas trees. because they really didn't do Christmas trees in Japan.
Yeah.
And our final year we were there, something like happened, like the shipment didn't get processed, and so they're like, sorry folks, no Christmas trees this year. Everyone was like losing their mind. Like, oh man, the Facebook group to our base was exploding. People like, where can you find trees? And like we were going to a coffee shop, my friend and I, and like suddenly she's like, pull over, and we see this little market that has this live Christmas tree, like the only one. Don't even know how it got there, but she was like, I found one. Like, oh.
It's amazing how those seemingly little things become very important when you're in a place where you can't have easy access to it, you know?
Yeah.
Christmas means a lot to North Americans.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, to not be able to get a tree seems bizarre.
Yeah. It sure did, especially at the time. It was fun too, because every now and then they would allow the Japanese to come on base, and like they would do a trick or treat. So like all the Japanese kids could come on base and like dress up and trick or treat, because they don't do that in Japan. I don't know why. It's a North American. It's more of like a European. I think the tradition started in Europe, so maybe that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was kind of fun that they could experience that, and you know. I think like the kids would come to our door and they'd be kind of confused because like they wouldn't know exactly what to do, and like we adults would be dressed up and be like, "Yay!" and they're like, "Okay."
What is up with you people? This is bizarre.
Yeah. What? Sorry.
He was just saying, "What's up with you people? This is bizarre."
Yeah. Right. You're running around getting candy from people's houses. It is kind of bizarre if you really think about it.
Yeah.
Peer pressure from people who are dead. That's what traditions are.
Yep. We just keep doing them.
Oh my gosh.
All right. I think I'm going to keep, I'll probably work for another 10-ish, 15-ish minutes. I'm going to see if we can finish this flag. And then I'm probably going to have to sign off. Suddenly realized.
I thought it worked out perfectly. My wife's about to come home, so.
Good. I suddenly realized how not fun it is drawing stripes on a curve surface. And every single time I was like, oh yeah, I'll put the flag here. I'm like, oh.
Have you tried using mesh transform?
I can. It did cross my mind, but actually there's so many weird little bumps and divots that I kind of figured it actually would be harder to do.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? I'll just kind of wing it. And as an artist, I have a little bit of liberty to fudge the details sometimes. So
exactly, and it looks good already. So
yeah, it's always interesting to me when you actually start studying an artist, and then like after a while you realize you're like, how they got away with that? Like, how did they? What? No one questioned them.
Yeah, when you look at something in a really good image, and you look at something very closely, and you're like, that's like an MC Escher thing. That can't happen.
Right? Yeah. But it works, and then really like that they made that decision for XYZ reason.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorites, if you're familiar with the children's book, The Bernstein Bears.
Yes.
Oh yeah, so totally one of Jessica's fan favorites growing up. They live in this tree, this tree house, and it's basically like the stump. For those of who may be listening don't know, the stump of the tree is like their house, and they have like the bulbousy leafy part is like the upstairs and whatnot. And I remember like seeing a picture of like the mama bear like standing on her front step, and she was almost as big as the house itself. Like she was like, I'm like, there's no way that she would fit into the house if you really thought of it. But they artistically did that, because otherwise, if you'd realistically drawn her to scale, you wouldn't visually see her.
Yeah.
And I just kind of like, that was one of the like, oh, like, interesting. Like, okay, so.
And kids don't care.
No, you don't notice. And it kind of like, what's the more important thing here? The more important thing is the information that gets across.
Mm-hmm.
I just remember being kind of like, huh, that's interesting.
It's like Doctor Who's TARDIS.
Yeah, it basically was. Bernstein Bear Treehouse. The TARDIS disguised as the Bernstein Bear Treehouse. It all makes sense now. Oh my goodness.
Mama Bear is the doctor.
I know, right? Wearing that disguise. Or no, it's one of the not transformations, regenerations. Was it?
Regenerations, yeah.
Yeah. She was one of the doctors. Oh man, these stripes are suffering. But at this point, I kind of just want to get this thing done. Because it's good to know. It doesn't take me, it takes me a little longer than an hour to draw this out, and that's okay. Yeah, such big expectations.
Now you can work that into your schedule if you ever plan to do another flag.
Right? Flag alone needs like an hour. Well, and I was even thinking like, I think I'll try coloring this. And now I'm like, black and white looks kind of nice. Maybe it would be. But I'm glad I still stuck with it today, because like you were saying, as far as trying to get over that trap of perfectionism, I was really struggling with Stella's face earlier. So much so that I was kind of like, yeah, maybe I should just not do it. And I was like, oh, come on. Like, if I just stop at the first sign of resistance, artistic resistance, like, no wonder I'm not going to get anything done. So I kept with it.
Life is all about balance.
It is. I guess if I were really doing this for real, I would really plot it out. But oh, oops. Oh, someone will look at this and be like, there are only 12 stripes on one side and 32 on the other side of the flag. How is that possible?
Well, if people are going to look that closely, you will never satisfy them anyway.
In moments like this, I would much rather put in the effort of finding a flag and just taking a photo.
I know, right?
As opposed to, and maybe that ends up taking more time than the other one, but I wouldn't care because it would just drive me insane.
Oh my goodness. I don't know. This side of the flag looks so much better right now. I might need to take a break and finish it later, or just be like, yeah, good enough.
I hear you about that, Fuzzy, though. Like, if I find something that really captures what I want to capture, I have no problem taking that and even just tracing the outline of it or the basic shape or whatever to get me started, you know. But I find so often I have this vision in my head of what I want, and I can never find a picture that'll match it.
Yeah.
Have to recreate it myself.
I know.
It happens so often. I don't know. I mean, if it's that unavoidable, then you might as well draw it yourself. But like, you can't.
But if I
can't waste that much time, you know.
If I could learn to, if I could be more comfortable with compromising a little bit and focusing on the point, as opposed to my need for these little details,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I could probably get more done.
I mean, it's good to have reference and to have like, yeah, I know what you mean. Like, especially when it comes to certain poses, I'm like, it has to be this way. I need to find something that, you know, I need a reference for it. And usually, by and large, I'll search and finally I'll be like, fine, I'll just take it myself. Yeah, that's a balance.
I have done that for stores, just taking pictures of myself, and it's sometimes really handy to be able to just get up, get in the right pose, hold some object so you can get the right angles and get a picture of that real quick.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's just like, it's annoying because you're like, oh, it's almost like the easier way. Like, I just want to find it miraculously online. And maybe don't. You're like, okay, fine. I'll go set it up.
Yeah, I usually go through a lot of struggle just trying to do it out of my head before I break down and say, oh, I got to get up and post this.
Yeah, that was one of the many things that I learned at IMC was, that was definitely more to have a focus on realistic painting. So they were really big into reference, and for many very good reasons. And I had some teachers that were very deliberate. Like, this is a tool. It's not cheating. You're not like, you're still changing it enough where it's not like you're just tracing it and calling it good.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, it's a tool that's meant to be used, and like certain artists would be like, don't skimp on the reference, you know, like even like one guy like made this model, like this little city, because they were more realistic painters, so it had to really be right. Yeah. And it got me thinking that sometimes I'm like, I just gotta tell myself, like, don't be lazy, get the reference you need and use it. And then other times it's like, it's good enough. That's good enough. And I think as graphic artists and more illustrative forms, we can kind of get away with that a little bit more.
Yeah. I do find, I mean, for me, getting enough detail to make something believable is definitely improved by having a reference to look at. Even if I'm not doing the exact pose or the exact angle, you know, if I'm drawing a car, just having that reference there to remind me, oh yeah, I should put the grill in there. Oh, yeah, I forgot about the mirrors.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. It's funny the things you kind of forget, and then you're like, oh no, I forgot there's like a window in the back seat.
Yeah. I drew a car that has no tires.
Yeah. So it's a future car. Surprise. Back to the future car. Okay, I think.
Call it a day.
Just I'm gonna add a couple more lines. And his little tube. Again, if he had a self-sustaining air breathing unit, sorry, no actual terminology, like he wouldn't need a tube, but I wanted to wind get his foot wound up around because it sounded fun.
Oh, it looks good.
I'm always like paranoid that someone who's an expert in the field is gonna look at that and be like, really? So I try to do my research first as much as I possibly can. And then there's sometimes it's like, whatever, we're good.
Yeah.
Don't count the stripes on the flag. Just don't.
Well, I certainly won't.
I don't think you can because they're all like, okay.
Now, if it had a great big maple leaf on it and that wasn't formed correctly, I might give you a hard time.
Hey, my dad's Canadian. I have actually practiced the Canadian flag a few times. Not a lot, but But note to self, do not add a maple leaf onto the American flag. I think at least I got that going for me. I just remember it always drive me crazy whenever I would draw like the maple leaf on the flag. I was like, wait a minute. So the points here, and points up there, like, and then I put either too many or too few points. Like,
it is a surprisingly complex shape. That maple leaf that's on the Canadian flag. It's surprisingly complex to do it well.
Mm-hmm. But those maple leaves are awesome. Giant maples.
Yeah, I like them.
Do you guys get them over there?
What's that?
Do you get the giant maples in Nova Scotia? You probably don't.
We have a variety of different kinds of maple trees, but we don't have any old growth forests left in Nova Scotia. Like everything in Nova Scotia, for the most part, had been cut down at some point in history.
Okay.
So it's all more like new growth forest. You don't have great big trees here.
But so in the Seattle, Pacific Northwest coastal British Columbia area, there's a specific maple tree called just the big leaf maple tree. So it's not even necessarily old growth. They just have really big leaves. And if you hold on for a second, I'll go grab one because I have one here.
Oh, do you? Yeah, I'm not familiar with it, honestly.
Here, I'll go grab it.
I haven't spent much time on the West Coast.
Kind of delicate. I just pressed it.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I've never encountered that.
Whoa! It's like, what's that movie? It's that movie with the dinosaurs, Littlefoot. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. This is a big leaf maple leaf, and some are smaller, and many are actually a little bit bigger as well. So there's secondhand. Yeah, this is like the stuff I grew up with. They just beautiful trees, and they turn a vibrant, like that kind of yellow right back there in the winter, fall. Yeah, and so every time I go back, I grab one of these leaves. I try to find the biggest one I can, and I press it and I put it on the wall because
that is fascinating. No, we don't have anything close to that in Nova Scotia on the East Coast. I mean, we have leaves that are almost the same shape, but nowhere near that size.
Yeah. But it is a very complex shape.
Yeah.
You really look. So I'm trying to draw that.
Yeah, I mean, when you first look at it, you just think, that's simple, but it's not.
It's a lot of geometric points to it. So.
Yeah. And especially if it's on a flag that is slightly distorted. Yeah.
Well, sorry I didn't get to draw one for Canada Day, but I'll leave that up for you to tackle. Yep. So they're pretty cool. I really love. I've always loved the woods and the forests on the West Coast, and I remember always growing up thinking that like that's where everything had fir trees. Everywhere had big leaf maple trees. Like you kind of think that stuff when you're a kid.
Yeah. Well, I mean, out west they do have some really old growth forest. I know in the States you guys have some. What are the great big trees that sometimes they have like tunnels through them where cars can drive through?
Oh gosh,
the redwoods.
Redwoods, yeah, and you guys have those there.
Yes.
For sure. They have those in, I think in BC. I think there's some areas that have that. And I thought, and I may be wrong, but I thought some of the scenes from the Star Wars movie where they were on Endor, some of the scenes were filmed there in BC where they had the giant redwoods.
There was a place in the redwoods in California where I know they were filmed. I don't know if
there. Okay. Yeah.
Filmed in Vancouver or like British Columbia. A lot of movies were filmed in Vancouver. Apparently,
it's cheaper to film it in Vancouver than it is to film it in the U.S.
That probably makes sense. That's probably why a lot of things were filmed there.
Yeah.
and it's a little more temperate too, so you don't have any like really extreme, extreme weather. We grew up, since my dad's Canadian, we would like almost every vacation we'd go up to Canada and Vancouver, and so I actually learned to appreciate Vancouver even more. I'd say more so than Seattle in many ways, where we live. But,
and I've never been to that part of the country. Never been out west.
If you like Japan, still very different, but they share the West Coast. At least I can speak for Washington and even parts of the West Coast of Canada share a lot of that appreciation for aesthetic things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see that.
I like that. It's really beautiful up there. It's so gorgeous. Whistler is a beautiful, beautiful place. The mountains and the water, like all in the same place. We had a friend come visit us one time to go skiing with us up at Whistler, British Columbia.
Mm-hmm.
And she lived on the East Coast, and I never seen anyone's eyes get so big as we were going on the Sea to Sky Highway. And it's this little highway that winds around these mountains, and at the base of the mountains is the water, and it's just it's stuff you see in movies. And
oh yeah, for sure.
I was like, oh, maybe this isn't everywhere.
No, we don't have any mountains like that out this way.
Mm-hmm. But the cool thing is, like, other parts of the world have so many other things. Like, the West Coast is so young, so there's no history, like really old history there.
Yeah.
So like that's been fun, at least in stateside. It's been fun, like living on the East Coast and seeing all the historical sites.
Yeah.
Whereas like the oldest thing on the West Coast is like 100 years old, and we're all like, ooh.
It's old. Yeah.
It's old.
Oh, we've got forts in here that have lengthy histories, or 300-year-old forts that have been taken over by the British and then taken over by the French and then taken over by the British again. And
wow. That stuff is really cool. And some cool ties to Europe and the progression of that history. Yeah. We kind of have a lot of ties to the Pacific and Asia, and I feel like the East Coast and places like that have a little more ties to Europe.
Yeah.
It's fun to see.
Well, I mean, Nova Scotia is Latin, I believe, for New Scotland. And there's a lot of Scottish heritage around here. I mean, my background, on my mother's side was all Scottish. My father's side was British. And people still pay attention to that. You know, we still have Scottish games in Halifax every summer, which is kind of neat.
That's really cool.
You can go have some haggis and watch a guy throw a
log,
light pole. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are cool. My dad his father was Scottish, so we got to see a little bit of that culture. Not a whole lot, but it's a really cool culture.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, when you meet a real Scotsman around here, it's not that different from what you see in the movies. Like, they really do have super thick accents. They really do like to drink a lot.
Hey.
At least the ones around here do.
I love it. I think that's the beautiful thing about different cultures, is it's always something fun and different and new.
Yeah. There was a really funny, I don't know if you can still find it or not, but on YouTube there was a really funny video with two Scotsmen getting on an elevator, and the elevator was supposed to have voice recognition. But
heard of this.
It couldn't understand them. So it was pretty. I mean, it was a comedy skit, but it was pretty funny.
I'll have to look that up. Well, my friends, it is 4:35 over here, and it sounds like you are getting ready to wrap up your evening too.
Yep.
I think I'm going to save this for the very first time.
I'm gonna shake my finger at you, although I think I've done the same thing.
I get talking and I forget. And at least there's the backup that they use. Oh, man.
I'll save.
I'm going to see. Let's see what you guys. Oh, wow. You got a lot of work done, Fuzzy.
Wow. That's really cool.
Yeah, I like to cut it really close, and then I'll do nothing for the first 80% of the time that I have to do a project, and then the last 20% I'm like,
You're in good company. I do that too.
Yeah.
I wish I could get rid of that, but my only solution has been to just give myself more work. So
better experience. Well, it looks really cool. I like the chest plate.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I'm going to check on yours as well, Craig. Oh, cool. You added all the other shading.
Yeah, I basically just spent this whole time throwing shadow on a figure.
It really helps with the atmosphere, man. I mean,
yeah, I got a shade in the background too, but yeah, I want it to be really dramatic. So
it is.
Good drawing is important, but there's a lot to be said about a good coloring as well. Those values really do a lot for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I find until I start to throw those shadows and stuff in, I don't really get a full sense of the form and the 3D nature of it.
It's true. I know. That's definitely a case for me. Is sometimes when I get into the inks and then it's like, ooh, I lost some of that three-dimensionality, and it only kind of comes back when you start adding those values. You're like, okay, good, it's still there.
It's still there. Oh, thank God.
Yeah. I was gonna say I like the bench or the bed, the seating unit. How that's a nice touch with the rails.
Yeah, I wanted to change it. I initially just did it in like it was a weird 4-poster bed or something, but yeah, I wanted to give it a little more modernish look.
Mm-hmm. That's good. It's good details like that make a world believable.
Well, I appreciate you having me on, Jess, again.
Yeah. Thank you guys for coming on. I appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks for the invite.
Well,
you guys have a fun 4th of July for the two of you.
Well, thanks. And I would wish you the same, but obviously it's meaningless. So
you can have a great 4th of July. It's 4th of
have
July.
a great Saturday.
I will.
Yay. Well, yeah. I will hopefully see if I can do this sometime next week. I'll let you guys know. Maybe either Monday or Tuesday, I'm thinking. So I'll send you out another invite.
Well, I think I said it last time, but at this point, it's iffy on whether or not I can make stuff. So
no worries.
If I can, I can, and I'll try to make it on. But if I can't, then sorry about that.
No worries at all. So you're always invited, and whenever you can make it.
All right.
So,
goodbye.
good to see you guys, and thanks for everyone in chat. See you later.
Yeah.
Bye.